Welcome back. So, in the summer 1978, for the summertime, I didn't really do very much, if I'm honest. Yeah, it was sort of a time where I had a few months trying to decide what to do. But actually, in October of 1978, I applied for a job with North Yorkshire County Council because I was actually living up north at the time for various reasons. And I got the job. Didn't really expect to, but I did. So I joined North Yorkshire County Council Highways Department as a Fortran programmer. Now, I had done Fortran and COBOL at North South Poly, so I had a basic understanding of both languages. But actually, in the Highways Department, they were more concerned with Fortran, and there was another language as well. And, I can't remember what it was. It was very obscure, and it was used for putting together accident statistics on the roads. So basically looking at police reports of accidents and recording various stats that we had to provide as part of the council stats. Anyway, we were plotting roads using huge, great plotters, bigger than the size of a pool table, maybe the sort of size of a snooker table. And so I was writing Fortran programs that basically did that. And the actual computer we were using at the time was across the car park from where our building was, in the main computer centre, and actually occupied a whole computer room, a massive computer room, because we had like processing units that were really the size of they were the size of like a big cabinet today, and that was the processing unit. And then you had disk storage, which were very much, and I can say this I think now because vinyl records are now coming back into fashion. So the 12-inch vinyl records, they were pretty much, the discs were that sort of size, but yay deep, sort of quite deep. But they didn't really have much storage capacity. So they were exchangeable, and you could actually take out a whole unit. They came as like a unit of discs. You could take out a unit, put it on a storage rack, and then put another one in depending on what you were actually running, whether you were running payroll or whatever you were doing. And you also had magnetic tapes. So magnetic tapes, big reels about the size of a pizza box, where you could mount those and read and write to magnetic tape as well. Now the discs were faster, but the magnetic tapes could like store more. So backups, large sort of amounts of data you could write to a mag tape. If you wanted to do quick processing, it was on a disk. But they were over in the big computer room. You had a computer room that had fire systems to suppress any fire that may break out. Halogen, I seem to remember, would flood the room if we had a fire. Thankfully we never did. But programs at the time, again, things really hadn't moved on too much from being at college or being at Polytechnic, because you actually still wrote your program, Fortran, COBOL, whatever it was, on coding sheets. You had a block of coding sheets, a bit like a yellow legal pad. And then you would take those over to the computer centre and you give them into the typing pool. Now, This is going to sound really sort of quite sexist, I suppose, not very diverse. But back in those days, remember we're October 78 through to, we're going now through to when? June, July 1982, so about 4 years. You had a typing pool, which was made up of ladies and girls in a room. You give them your program that you'd written out on coding sheets, and they would type it up for you. And again, they were using cards. So you put your paper in with your program on. You put your paper into like a pigeonhole. Someone would come and pick it out. The lady that was in charge of the typing pool, give it to one of the ladies. She would type it up, and the cards would come out, and the cards would come back into the pigeonhole. And then when you got the cards, you could actually submit those for a run, and we got 2 runs a day. So again, you know, quite restrictive. You had to try and get things right pretty much first time. So I did 2 years as a Fortran programmer in the highways department, and then the opportunity came up to move from the highways department actually across to the computer centre as a programmer. So at that point I switched from Fortran to COBOL, but also we had an ICL 1900 machine and one of the first in the country, an ICL 2900 machine. So all the councils were really jealous of what we'd actually got. Now, North Yorkshire County Council is a very big council, you know, a very big area as well. So from then over to COBOL, but, and here's the key for the rest of my career, I started to get involved in ICL database management systems, which were hierarchical databases. So in 1980, we'd never heard of relational databases. Certainly we'd never heard of Oracle or any of the other relational databases. We were working with ICL DBMS, and I'll talk more about that in the next video. Hopefully see you then.